All right.
Great. All right, we're rolling. Excellent. I'll pretend like we're live streaming and say thanks everyone for joining another episode of the Node.js website redesign strategic initiative meeting. Today is the 19th of May. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. We have a short agenda. And I don't know if anybody is good at doing meeting notes, but I will paste the doc in here. And we can kind of just maybe update some of these details. Should have done this before. So, add your name if you can. And who's that? Who's got the mechanical keyboard?
That would be me, I guess. I have a kinesis advantage too.
Nice.
So it's a ortholinear keyboard, I guess.
Sounds great.
Nice.
Cool. I'm just updating some of the information here at the top. Cool. And then so we have 3 items on our agenda, which we can crank through. Maybe then we'll look at the couple of issues that Jatil had popped into the chat. And then maybe we can just do a little bit of kind of project management work, as it were. Do we have any announcements or anything? I don't know. I don't have anything. I guess I have one thing I'll share, something of an announcement. Tierney and I are the 2 members of the social team, the Node.js social team. And we were looking at the calendar, which isn't really social related, but we wanted to start we're doing some automated tweets. And we want to do like a weekly tweet, like here's the week's calendar, if for your convenience, or if you want to get involved, here's multiple ways to get involved. And we were kvetching on the fact that the calendar is by default in Pacific time zone. And I'm in Eastern, so I always have to remember that and then do the kind of math. And so we thought it would be less US centric and perhaps easier for the world to consume this calendar if it was GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. So we switched the calendar to that. So if you're used to looking at the calendar and grogging it through whatever filter, if you're a Pacific or what have you, just know that it has changed, and the times are going to look different to you, and you'll have to switch your mental gymnastics around that.
So this is on nodejs.org/calendar?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And for folks who just click the add to my Google Calendar button and have it integrated in their own calendar, then all that works out and it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking at the embedded calendar, which is nodejs.org/calendar, it is now in Greenwich Mean Time. That just happened like 20 minutes ago. So I will add that here in the notes here. Nodejs.org/calendar is now in GMT. Great. So let's see. Jumping into the agenda, the first item here is issue 1193. This is the one that is the mobile top menu strategy for mobile. I'll drop it in here in case people want to click on it. This has an agenda label. I'm not exactly sure why.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but I think it was more of a question. And in the comments, I suggested doing like a hamburger menu. So the question was about, on a mobile, there's a horizontal scroll.
Yeah.
And how do we want to handle that?
Yeah. So my question, I guess, would be, what would be the implementation? Like, is the hamburger going to have all of those top nav items plus the dark mode plus the GitHub?
I would imagine it would just be the links, and then the 2 icons, the GitHub icon and the dark mode icon, would be to the right of the Node logo.
Or just this, when you look at this abstractly, like what I'm seeing is just like a poor responsive design layout. So it's kind of like what happens when the view shrinks to the mobile resolution. So like if you're looking at this, like, do you need to drop all those icons, or do you need to drop like the dark mode and the GitHub icon or whatever down below, when it gets to that resolution, or hamburger menu is fairly common for this sort of thing. I think last time we talked about having we're like, I think Joe said, because my mind initially goes to like, well, we could just get a designer friend to like look at this and say, hey, this would be good, like do it this way or whatever. But I think Joe, you mentioned like we should probably just implement something and move forward.
Yeah, I mean, my guiding principle for this sort of work is use the designs and compare it to, and use the designs from Figma and the current website and figure out, what makes sense of those two, but not diverge much from them if at all possible. And so let me actually look up on my phone really quickly. What does the Node.js.org website do? .org.
Hello, Becky.
You weren't here, Ben, but Becky is an IBMer who is interested in contributing, so I invited her today. So yeah, thank you for joining. So on the Node.js.org website, they do this kind of thing, which is pretty goofy, but not terrible. And then you scroll, it's not sticky. And I'm going to just share my screen just because why not? Sure. So if I look at these are the Figma designs here.
Yep.
Shouldn't have my password manager open.
We are recording.
Hey, I'm glad we're recording this to your computer because you're gonna have to edit that out later.
I'm a real professional. So I don't think that there are even mobile designs looking at this. Yeah.
No. Can you zoom in on that real quick again?
Yeah, I just wanted to double check. But if we do look at this, like we're already veering off from these designs. There isn't a search. Let me just go to nodejs.dev. And this is in my way.
Oh, there's no search.
And GitHub, the GitHub link, which I agree should be there, is not in the designs.
What was the design for the search, and is that like just a feature that hasn't been implemented yet?
Yeah, we just haven't got to it. I tried implementing it with Algolia quite a while ago, and our JSON blob of stuff from Gatsby is too big for the free tier.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
So I abandoned it.
Okay. Well, we'll look at that later. Because I don't think let's just take a look as we do. We don't have search on here either. So
can I make a suggestion for the mobile? Just like a quick just a shout out. Feel free to like it or hate it. For the mobile, I feel like if the nav links dropped below on that resolution, on mobile resolution, and there were the hamburger and the moon and the GitHub icon above that, that would probably do it. Because then we wouldn't have that extra space, on the mobile layout. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so essentially, and I don't know if I can get this to work here properly as we might expect. So this is an iPad. If I just do some sort of iPhone X.
Right.
So we are kind of off here. So you're saying just all these text links should drop below?
So get rid of the Node.js logo in the top right left corner, because that's taking up real estate. So if you just get rid of that Node.js logo, and then you keep the text links, and then the icons on the right of those text links, they go top. So they're at the top, text links are below. And if we want to put a hamburger in, it could be hamburger moon GitHub logo on the top.
That's not bad. Let me throw out another idea. And I'm trying to pull this up on my phone real quickly.
Sure.
So Interesting. So actually on my phone, it's working properly.
Oh,
Yeah. Although no, learn docs download is not showing
yeah.
up
It seems
here.
like you're missing some links
Uh,
there.
Yeah.
yeah. So actually, last night I think it was, I merged in a PR where we hide the download link on mobile
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
because it doesn't make sense to
Download a mobile.
download anything on a mobile device.
Yeah.
Yeah, although it is the front. Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh,
Um,
looks like you. Yeah.
'Cause it is still
Looks
the
like
call to action right there, but it would be maybe
yeah.
if on mobile we have like a
Yeah,
little.
that was another thing. Noticed that after I merged it in. It's like, if we're going to do that, we should probably hide these other buttons on mobile. But
Um,
then,
Honestly, this is. I mean, as long as we have the right links and we don't lose anything that is. I mean, these. You try to make these contextual to mobile, which is great. So as long as we're not losing anything that is, right in this context, like just that. I mean, that looks good. That looks fine to me.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do and what I do in some of these instances is I try to put my Miles and Tierney hat on, or
Uh,
anyone else that's just going to come at this, and they
yeah.
might complain like that. It's a little bit odd to. I get why we would take it out, but actually I think like going to the download page and seeing, like if I click on this, does this work?
yeah, because
Um,
there is more to the downloads page than the buttons. You can see
yeah,
this table right here.
yeah. So I think that there is a lot of good information here.
Sure.
So what I would suggest, kind of riffing a little bit on what you were saying, Oben,
Mhm.
what I would suggest is leave the node up in the top left, leave
Yeah.
these two
I
icons in the top
was
right, and
actually
move
thinking
all of the
that too.
text links just below it.
Yeah, that could work. That
I mean,
could
I don't
work.
know how that works in terms of the flow of the, HTML and the markup.
I guess
And
like all I'm thinking about is like we're talking about visual design too. So like what looks pleasing, and we would just have to like. I mean, it's kind of trivial to try both and see what they look like. To try like something where here I'm just gonna draw something real quick. So like node, and then um, are we talking about doing a hamburger menu still?
I would prefer not to right
Not
now
to. Okay,
because it's
cool.
not in the designs, and
Yeah.
I really want to see this project get over the finish line. And so I'm
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
not get too creative, in terms of taking
Yeah.
liberties.
Yeah.
Um, so for Till and Becky, this effort has been going on for years. Um, I mean, I think maybe early 2019 the designs were delivered, but there was work before that in terms of information architecture and just thinking these things through and planning. But it's been a long time, and I think that we're actually kind of close. And I would love to see it get over the finish line, and then we can add features like, well, maybe this would be better as a hamburger menu, or maybe there are lots of things that we've kind of discussed that we could be like features that we might want to add, like an embedded calendar, or lots of other things. But I want to get like the MVP out the door so we can consider this not complete per
So
se, but over the finish line.
can I just want to show something real quick.
I'll
I'm
stop
just gonna
sharing.
hold it up.
Are you wanting to share? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just gonna do it via my screen though. I guess like I don't know why, but it felt weird not seeing myself. So I just like drew these two things out. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so like these are kind of the two things we're talking about, and I think if it's squared off in the way that you were talking about, Joe, with the sort of filled out like that, I think that'd be fine. Like this one, I
Yeah.
think that's what you're talking about, and I think
Yeah.
that'll probably be best
Yeah.
as I look at it visually. So I think that's a good idea.
I don't know about how it's implemented and how you're kind of pulling that out of the flow of the document. So that might need to be tweaked. I'm not sure. But
Well, I mean, like essentially what, just looking at this visually, you have like a nav component problem. I mean, I haven't looked at it, so Ben would know, right? But like to
Mhm.
me, it just looks like I've got the node object, which is always going to be there. I've got like a nav component, with the links and stuff, and then I have another component which is like my other links, my my dark mode, light mode, and whatever. So to me, it looks like a simple layout problem. Would that be right, Ben? Like, is it
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
yeah,
It's a UL list. Um, oh yeah,
cool.
Joe has the elements open.
Great, there it is. Yep.
Yep,
So pretty much after that, it's just like however you want to display them.
yeah,
Usually
and
it's like Flex or something, Flexbox or whatever.
mhm. Yeah, actually, it looks like we are using Flexbox. I see Flex in the on the right.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
There you go. So that would be a relatively trivial change then.
yeah, that would be good. Does someone want to kind of write that up in that issue, like what we're talking about? Because I think somebody has even already said that they would work on this.
Cool. If nobody else wants to do it, I can do it. Unless Ben, were you going to say something?
No, I can write it if you want. But
Oh, sweet.
I was going to say, did you want me to revert the download link and bring it
I think
back on
so.
mobile? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I think it was a good idea, but I think it makes I want to steer away from those kinds of changes.
Sure.
Jatil, are you speaking? It looked like you went off mute. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I think instead of reverting the committed change, can we include that in the new ticket we are going to do?
Yeah, that's
Well, I think
the
think it's
Ben's
already-
changes already merged, right? So
yeah.
reverting again and adding something, will it cause any issues, or can we do it in a single ticket, single PR?
I think it's cleaner to just have Ben revert what he did and then move forward.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay.
All right, cool. And then Manish is said that they're working on it, so we can ping them. I think they're in the Slack, and let them know this direction. Cool. All right. Moving on. Let's see. So this actually is on my radar. Miles made me admin, and I can make this change. I was going to make it last week, but I didn't. So I will maybe make it this week. But be aware, this change is coming. And this is renaming default branch from master domain. Cool. And then this community page is on the agenda as well. Oh, nice. It's in a project as well. So Ben, do you have any update on this? This issue's on the agenda. And there's a bunch of stuff here, but if you can update us, that'd be great.
Yeah. So the things that still need to be worked on are on the sidebar. I don't think anyone's actively working on it. So if you go to nodejs.dev/community, I'll write that in the chat so you guys can click on it. You can see that the links on the left don't go anywhere, and that's because those pages don't exist yet.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to do next on this page.
Which link it is?
All the links on the left.
But hang on, hang on though. All the links on the left are from the design, and I think that was just like a kind of pie in the sky sort of. Let me get to that. What is it? Like if we had all these things, or here's all the things you might see in a community page.
Right.
I don't think that we should go and implement all these pages. I think that we should align this with what we think the community section should be.
Mhm.
And again, I'm always nervous about being creative here, but I think if we went to here and we went to about, let's see. Because I feel like this has been discussed a million times, and I feel like decisions were made on what should be on this community page,
Mhm.
but I don't know what those decisions are. I could look and see if there has, if it, we try to do everything in issues, right? And pull requests. So we could see if there's any
I think
decisions.
just finding a history, if there's any history of a conversation about that before, that'd be great. Otherwise, it looks like we'll need to kind of triage and also filter and accordingly like filter this down to what is essential. Some of these things could probably be don't necessarily need to be pages if there are other if they're just linking out to things. Like if we wanted to keep something like community publications, we could probably just link out to like wherever the Node.js blog is going to live or whatever, stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I was trying to parse this, and then I just heard you talking about the blog. What are we talking about?
It's nothing super vital. I was just saying along with what you were talking about, we need to filter down, pare this down to what is essential to be in here and not create extra work for ourselves. So like, we're talking about if we need a couple of pages to exist here, that's great. Maybe some of these, if we want some of these things like community publications or whatever, for now, we could link, some things might link out to like the blog or, whatever it is. But it seems like there is some parity, as long as there's some kind of parity between how this is represented in nodejs.org and here, that'll be good.
So this is perhaps the quote unquote decision. Oh wait,
Yeah.
this is from Divya.
This was when Divya was attempting to implement it, and then Ahmad came in and implemented something
Yeah, but I want
similar.
to see. I remember Tierney.
Yeah, and then Tierney said, "Why aren't we following the design? We should follow the designs." And then we were like, "Okay, we'll follow the design."
Okay, so here's what I propose we do here. This is this, and we were just looking at it right somewhere in here.
Yep.
Where is this content from?
So this content is from Ahmad. It came from I think he's a lead on a community, right?
Yeah, he has done some work on outreach and is a part of the
Yeah.
community.
So it came from the
Okay.
outreach work that I guess he's doing.
Okay.
So he brought in this markdown. So it's a markdown file within the code base. Yeah.
Okay. So what I think we should do here, and I'm glad that this kind of exists, like the layout is the design for the layout is implemented, and that's great. And then we just need to figure out, I think that we should make an issue for this in terms of what should be on the community page and what should be in the sidebar and what is the expected interaction, in the sense of if I click on a left sidebar nav, does it take me to a new page, or is the community page one giant page that you jump down to that section?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is an issue that we could create and then maybe talk to like Tierney and Miles and anyone else who's interested and try to get this completed. What's cool about this is that this is an implementation of, so what I think would be great is if we took this implementation, right, and basically copied it to an about page, so that we have this sort of thing, and then implement, because on the current website here, let me close this. This is the redesign. We have an about link down here, I think that when we click on that, it should implement this design, but with this content,
Yeah.
with this same interaction, where if I click here, it's a new page. I click here, it's a new page. Right. And then if we do that, we're mimicking the current website. We're also setting the paradigm for how community page would be implemented if we had clear guidance on the implementation. But we're taking the interaction and this content and implementing it from the about link from down here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I actually have a PR for the about page.
And what does that look like, Ben? Is it what I'm describing?
Sort of. I copy pasted the current text from Node.js.org about and put it into this our card design. So there's a if you go to the open PRs, you can see it.
So it's is it just this page?
It's just this text right here. There is no sidebar at the moment.
Okay. So yeah, if you it's awesome that you have an open PR. Do you, with your experience here, would it be hard to convert that PR to have the sidebar?
No, it'd be
okay,
straightforward.
Cool. And then in that implementation, like this link would be the same, where it'd be just /about, as if you had clicked on the about, and then these. I mean, hell, if you want to just copy paste.
Yeah, actually, what I started doing is I also created a PR last night for the governance page.
Great. Cool. So if you want to get that set up for the about page and then do a PR for each of the pages, that sounds fine with me. Or if you want to just throw it all in one PR, and just make it clear, the text does not need to be reviewed. This is pulled directly from the website. We're just kind of reviewing the layout and the interaction.
Yeah, I was going to go with one PR per page, just to keep the PR small because the text is quite a bit. And
sure, that sounds good to me. Oh, Ben?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I was just going to agree with you on that. I think creating this is the way that the community is used to interfacing with like what Node.js is, looking at this page, and so like just continuing that on instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, I think is probably the best foot forward. And so yeah, I like your approach here, Joe.
Cool. Yeah, and I think once we get this stuff implemented, things will be obvious. Like, oh, we could better structure this, or we could figure lots of things out. But I want that to be like phase 2.
Totally.
Cool.
So I think Ben, I can also help you on this. Like there are many pages here, right?
Yep. This would be I should create some more issues for each of these pages. So there are also open PRs for the trademark policy, privacy policy, and there's another one down the bottom. I forget the third one. Oh, security.
So go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, so those are all open PRs that could use. I gave it thumbs up, but more eyes are always better. So
but let me ask you what the implementation is, because what I would expect in taking this and moving it to this format or whatever, that when you click on sorry to bounce around here, when you click on privacy policy, for example, it would take you to the about. It would take you to basically this page. With the left nav bar implemented.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you, I'll find the PR number and you can take a look if you like.
Sure.
So it's PR 1298.
Okay. Let's see.
So I'll paste it for you.
Just do one of these things and then.
There you go.
1298.
And then the staging link. These things are awesome. I like how Miles set this up for us.
Yeah, and this is for trademark. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I click into here, and so for folks who are new, when you open a PR like this, there's a GitHub action that creates a preview, and so you can click in here and see what this looks like. So this was sorry, was this trademark?
Yep.
So cool. I'm assuming that this is the same content I would see here.
Yep.
But oh, that's the wrong one. Trademark. Beautiful. So that's that. That's that. Great. So all I would ask is that this be moved into this style with the about links here. So essentially what ends up happening then is some of these are just like quick links into that section.
Yep.
And later on, we might say, well, that's dumb. Let's take these things out. Let's do some information architecture review here. That's fine. But let's just get this, like I said, aligned as much as we can with the design, current implementation, get that out the door, and then work on improvements. Cool. Wow. We, are just, I think this is good. This is progress. So that's cool. I think, Ben, once you get the community or the about section implemented with the sidebar, we could then, like Jatil and maybe Becky, if you're interested, can jump in and add a couple of the other pages, and that would be awesome.
Okay.
Essentially a template to get other folks going. And Becky, if you can, I encourage you to join the Slack, because there may be some comments in there. Like I could imagine Ben Halverson saying, "Hey, here's the community," the about page with the left sidebar implemented. Jatil might jump in and say, "Here's the next page," and then it would be clear how these PRs would take shape.
Hey, Joe. Really quickly, would you mind navigating back to the view of Node.js.dev really quick?
Which one? Oh, .dev?
Okay. I'm gonna just take can I take a little picture of everybody to post on the tweets for this I just want to like gain some goodwill here for Node.js.dev. Can everybody give me a thumbs up real quick like this? Just thumbs up. Yay! Woohoo! All right, sweet. Okay, I'm gonna tweet that.
All right.
Okay, one more update. Like tomorrow is Node.js birthday, so we are expecting some tweets.
Node.js.org/calendar.
Oh, I think it's next Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Next day.
Yeah, it's
That's
coming
good.
up.
That's good.
It's coming.
Ben, you should think about joining. Ben, you should think about joining the social team with me and Tierney.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like right now I'm just navigating, trying to trying to like wade into the stream. So I'm like trying to be careful about ideally, maybe in a little bit of time, I can get there, but I'm also it's also trying to get back into like the Unicode liaison stuff with standards group and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's one thing at a time, but I would love to if I can.
Cool. Great. So that is the agenda. So that's great. I'm glad that we got through that, and we frankly don't have a lot of time beyond that. So I'm not sure what would be the best use of our time. I'm going to jump into this project view just for one to like show Jatil and Becky, and maybe we can review this a little bit. The way I built this out with Ben Halverson is we looked at the Node.js.dev site and designs, and we looked at Node.js.org and just tried to pinpoint what needs to be done with a quick kind of overview of what's maybe missing. And so like these are the smaller effort things that would be really great to have implemented. And I think like security and about is what we were just talking about. So it would be great to have Jatil and Becky help in that effort. So don't folks, don't hog all the PRs. Let's spread the work around. So that would be great. These banners, I'll just share really quickly. Are let me get to it.
Joe, your new metal band is called PR Hog.
That's awesome. So interestingly, we don't have any banners up, so I cannot show you what that looks like. That's funny.
Muted. I think it's only shows up during like security announcements, which is not too often.
Yeah,
But
and
they go away after a while.
we had a BLM one up there too that we took down not too long ago.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not even a big deal right now. I mean, I guess a primary one would be fine. And then maybe the secondary one is secondary.
Yeah. I was wondering about that. Like, where would it sit in the UI of Node.js.dev? Would it be at the very top above everything, or would it be above run JavaScript everywhere?
That's a very good question. And yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. Would be great to have some sort of design committee that would approve these sorts of things so we don't have to think about it. You know what? Since there isn't a design for this, I'm going to kind of put it over here too. Maybe even put it at the top, because we don't even have, an implementation on the current site to look at. So screw it. We're going to put it over there for now. So in terms of the download section, and I'm kind of talking out loud here for folks who are involved or on the call. So if we go to download, yeah, okay. So this, I don't know if is this current, Ben Halverson, in terms of what's in the code base? Because I know
yeah, this is correct. This is in production. Yeah,
latest.
This is
okay,
the
great.
latest and greatest. Yeah,
cool. So if we look at this. And we look at downloads here. Number one, there's a different design. So some of it is going to take a little bit of mental mapping. But there are changes that need to happen here that would align with this. So like, for example, where is this even like including the release schedule? Because this is different.
Yeah, so this design, the current design, was based on the actual designs. And then, yeah, there's a release schedule under the releases page that you found.
Yeah, so I think, sorry, go ahead.
I think in the design, when there was a designer, they kind of combined the downloads page with the releases page. It's in here somewhere. Maybe it's at the top where it says "Do not implement experiment," and we implemented it anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw it. Yeah, over on the right.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
That is not even, that's the don't look here stuff is implemented. Anyway, what's done is done. We'll figure it out. So like, for example, Node.js 13, this should not be here. Like once we move on to the next odd release, the previous odd release goes away fairly quickly. So for example, 15 EOL is in like a week or two. And that's because, version 16 was released. For folks who don't know, we do major releases on even numbers and development on odd numbers. Where version 17 will be coming soon. There's kind of some overlap and some gaps as this works out. But once 17 comes out, then we will focus on doing development there, and then you backport everything to the maintenance and current releases. I don't know if that makes sense. So anyway, my point being, version 13 isn't mentioned here at all, and so it should be removed from here. So I think it would be good to go through this. That may be the only issue. I'm not sure. I guess the other issue is that this is built from a JSON file, if I'm not mistaken. And it would be awesome. Like, we're engineers, right? We should make things that manage themselves. So if we go to Node.js/releases, so this is the actual repo, and then this is the actual JSON file. It would be cool if we were consuming this and perhaps only showing the most recent stuff, but maybe even with an expandable table that could show you more. But I worry that we build something like this and it's going to get out of sync with the canonical source of truth.
Right. Yeah. I think the reason we went with our own, because the downloads page on .dev is also coming from a JSON file, but it has an additional parameter or property called
That's right.
released or not,
Yeah.
or as a Boolean, and we were using that as a flag to show whether the hexagon is filled in or not.
Yeah, I remember talking about this
And
now.
yeah, we talked about this previously. So I can create it. I'm writing down some notes now in our notes
Great.
to create an issue.
Great. Yeah, and I think what we discussed before, Ben Halverson, is to pull in this JSON and then munge it, massage it to whatever way we want, but always be kind of pulling in from the source of truth and then making it fit what we need for our UI.
Is this exported at all anywhere, or is this just live in the release repository, like raw, like that? Like, because what I'm thinking is, like, if this is the canonical source of truth for the releases, then like, wouldn't it be advantageous if there's a lot of projects depending on it to export it via like a module or something?
I don't know how useful that would be. Maybe it would be. What I was just wondering, in kind of along the same lines, what you were thinking is, like, we should pull in, this JSON and expose it, like it could be an endpoint. I mean, endpoint for lack of a better term, but URL accessible. So
that's definitely easier.
Yeah.
or more, that's less maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that would be cool. I agree. Like, if we're going to consume it anyway, we might as well at least have it in our repo, and it does go out when we ship a website out.
Yeah.
We may need to think about, if you could go on mute, Ben. Sorry,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I work with a lot of people with loud keyboards, so we may need to be considering some sort of cron build job thing. So, because when things like this get updated, we don't want to be serving stale data.
Right.
And I think this is like subject to change. So
right. Yeah, we don't want to serve stale data for sure. Yeah, it's like thinking through what requires the least amount of maintenance, as well as just like depending on something from another repository like this. So I think like you're saying, yeah, just kind of like fetching it, for now is probably totally fine to bring it in that way. And then if we needed to, let's just keep it simple, like you said.
Yeah, and maybe even instead of exposing it through the website itself, just have a link that goes direct to this, and people can consume it however they want.
Exactly.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to just see if, Jatil and Becky, if you have questions. Are there things that we could, while we only have a few minutes left, are there anything come to mind that would be helpful to you?
So, so we decided to fetch this JSON, which we are currently viewing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are we copy pasting it, or are we planning for mechanism to automatically fetch the latest like that.
Always try to automate. You know, we want the
Okay.
machines
Okay.
doing the work. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
great.
you know, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we already have a mechanism in our website, or do we need to implement that?
Halverson, I see you unmuted.
Yeah. So I guess I would use fetch, window.fetch,
Okay.
and make a JSON request,
Okay.
and then
That's great.
parse over it.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too, Ben. I'm with you on that.
Did you have a question, Becky?
No, I probably just need some time to like look through this to understand how it'll work.
Yeah, and that's a great that brings up a good point too. You know, when you, Becky, or anyone watching this later or what have you, if you're looking at this repo and this work and something isn't clear to you, number one, feel free to ask any of us, but also help us make it better. You know, because I think a lot of this work has been going on for a while. And it has evolved. I think even like, you know, technology choices and guides and instructions and docs. So anywhere you see something not making sense, especially if you are like, this doesn't make sense. Oh, I figured out how this does make sense. Please like open a PR to update the documentation, open a PR to update the storybook, open a PR to, you know, explain how the left nav bar works for the next person who needs to implement something. Like any of these things are very, very welcome. I haven't had the chance to really dig in lately to see how the documentation aligns with the actual project and the experience and the development of it. So I'm not sure, but someone with fresh eyes is always the best way to kind of make things work better for everyone else coming along. And those are usually nice, small, easy PRs that aren't, you don't have to worry about breaking the website or anything. So cool. Anything else before we kind of look to wrap?
Yeah, I pasted two issue numbers, 1153
Yes.
and 1176.
Yes, let's take a look at that. Let's see. So this would be issue, what was it again? What's the first one?
1153. Yeah.
I probably did something wrong here. Is it issues? There we go. So the blog.
I think these issues are open for a while, right?
Yeah. So if we look at the feature parity list here, these are sort of in order, these MVP phases, and maybe I should even label them, you know, phase one is this, which is these things. And then like the blog is sort of a bigger question here. Currently the blog is used just for like security and releases and stuff, and it's called news. And this is important, but we're also having discussions about, you know, Node.js Medium publication. You know, we're trying to figure out what we do with this. There are a bunch of us who are not big fans of Medium. I would prefer to do this all in a blog, but it's sort of like a bigger question. So personally, I would discourage work on this at the moment in favor of trying to get these things done. And then even like, yeah, I think that can come after we get these things done.
Yeah, understood. Like we have more priority things now.
Yeah. And just to give you, and I know we're just about out of time, a little bit of perspective here. There's a whole like nodejs.org website team that's managing the current website. And that team and our team do not interact at all right now. And also the TSC and even the ComCom are sort of like unaware of the status and the work that's been going on. And so my goal is to get this column of the smaller effort stuff done to where it feels like, okay, this website is pretty good. It's pretty complete. Yes, we have big things like the blog. We have big things like localization of the content and docs. You know, these are a couple of big things that we need to work out. But if we get all the other stuff done, I feel comfortable going to the larger group, these other teams, and saying, okay, look, things are looking really good. We've got a good layout and everything's working well. Now we need to handle these bigger things that we actually need perhaps some TSC input. We need to coordinate with the docs team. We need to coordinate with the internationalization team. But everything else is in place, and I would feel more comfortable bringing people into our, we're basically cleaning up our mess before people come over to visit the house, so that's what my thinking is here.
Okay, so I made contribution to org, Node.js org as well.
Yeah.
Like a few documentation change. And recently I touched the Node.js dev. I added the shell command, one shell command, that's it. So going forward, I'll stick with the same forum so we can. Okay.
Great. I mean, and I'm, there's an issue open. I don't know if it's an admin or what, but yeah, right. Was that it? Did I catch it? About like getting the two teams together. This isn't private, right? No. Okay.
I think it was in Node.js.org, the one that
was it?
that Rich Trott opened.
Okay. Node.js.
Speaking of that, just as we're ending up here, a little last announcement too. So Ben Halverson, not this week, but next week, he's going to jump over with us in the internationalization working group and kind of give us a rundown. He's going to help us look through, the Node.js org in the context of integrating internationalization into it, and we'll give Ben context. If anybody else would like to join us at that meeting, so not this Friday, but the Friday after, totally welcome to. Love to have you there. If you want to gain context for either or both sides, I think it's going to be something that's a stream of work, to get that integrated into Node.js .dev. So either way, it doesn't have to be seen necessarily as like a, hey, let's get this done first and then do that. I feel like just there's ongoing work, and there always will be ongoing work for internationalization and getting this translated. So the more we can just continue to sync and see it progress into being a reality for Node.js.dev, the better. So anyways, y'all are invited.
That's great. And I'm excited about it. And I just want to say, I keep talking about this and getting the other stuff done, but localization of the site, I think, does make sense to start that work, because the way the current website, nodejs.org, is set up is a little different, but I think not too different. And we could start to align that sooner than later.
Absolutely.
So that definitely does make sense to me. And that would be cool too, to bring that to the larger group and be like, yep, we're already aligning here. And yeah, so cool.
Yep. And also, just for context too, we're going to get someone from nodejs.org who understands, how the API documentation is generated and built and that sort of thing. So we want to get context on like a rounded perspective of how, the internationalization working group can, stream into get into both of those streams, making sure that translations are going out and available, because that's sort of the topology we have right now, which is nodejs.org, nodejs.dev. Those are our two targets, but we so you might hear more about that too if you want to join to see how those docs are generated and built, which will be cool. Yeah,
definitely keep me posted. I look forward to hearing more about all those efforts. All right, cool. Okay. That's we're over time, and I've got somebody else sending me messages about another meeting, so I got to drop. But I appreciate everybody.
All right.
You too. Thank you, Joe. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.